Now, I want this video to kind of be a no cut, just me talking to you and you taking it all in, because I've seen a few people actually kind of make this kind of videos of like, what you need to know about trading, raw. So I figured, I'll give you my own take from my experience, because for me, I'm somebody who started trading without any mentor, courses, kind of learning everything in a free way, right? So I figured you might want to know exactly what that's going to come with, exactly what you should know, the struggles and the goods, and just the entire experience from my perspective. Plus, if you don't know who I am, then I'm a day trader. I post my trades every single day. Been funded, pretty much doing this as a full-time gig job now at this point. I pretty much just make content and trade, and teach other people as well who want to learn how to trade exactly the way I do. That's pretty much all I do in short, right? So I'm also 24 years old, in case you did not know. But yeah, all right, let's just get straight into it. Now, the primary thing I would like to say about trading, right, is that let's get this out of the way, that trading is not easy. The the process of learning how to trade, in the sense that the systems, what's on paper, that's very easy. You enter a buy here, you sell here, quite straightforward, quite easy. So the aspect of trading is extremely simple, right? That is kind of why the barrier of entry is quite simple. You can have, it's quite easy, should I say. You can have 17-year-olds, 16, 21, any age can pretty much get into trading and start clicking buttons and enter buys and sells in literally in the space of a few minutes. That part is very easy. Now, what makes that 100% entry rate turn into like a 4%, even 1% success rate? Success meaning that you're now a trader, you have payouts, and you're doing this time and time again. What differentiates these two? And the key part, right, the most important, the one single factor, is simply being able to, I don't know what term I would use, which one's the most important term if I had to just pick one, but I do want to know what you guys think in the comments as well. But I would say is being, it's about being very diligent. Very diligent in the fact that when you trade, you will have to lose. You would have to lose many, many times. In fact, you would have to lose money, right? Which is kind of the most important factor, because nothing matters in this world, should I say, that much until you're losing something. When money is involved, which is almost like the most important currency, or the most tangible thing that everybody in the world is attached to, when this becomes involved now, it just seems to change everything, right? Completely different if it was something else on the line, but because your money is involved now, people act different. It gets to you a little bit more. So because of that reason, trading now gets extremely difficult, because what happens when you lose $10, $20? You lose your whole work income, you lose a month's salary. Like, what do you do and how do you react to this? That is when you slowly see that percentage go from 100 to 80, and that slowly goes down and down, because not many people are cut out for it. So right off the bat, being a trader, you have to have a high, extremely high tolerance for losses. Very high tolerance for losses, right? It's not like a physical thing where you can get banged in the face and you firm it and you get back up. Not really. This is you kind of putting everything you have on the line. Especially why I say everything is because there's also this bad habit that we all have, where it's like, trading can make you a lot of money, so you end up putting too much on the line, hoping you're gonna make it back. So because of that, people end up putting so much money. Like in my case, right, I somewhat did the same thing. One of the biggest mistakes I made when trading is that I went into it full in, heads in, pretty much dived in with nothing to hold me back, basically. But when I sort of found out about prop firms, right, you get to a stage in trading where you kind of know what you're doing, meaning that you have a strategy, you sort of know what you're doing, you've made money, you're 50-50. But at this point, you think to yourself, you know what you're doing, right? You kind of have it on lock. So when I found out about prop firms now, I decided to go for 25k prop firm accounts, and that will cost you roughly like $120 ish, right? Something like that. That was what I was going for. Now, doing this, I blew a ton of these, and it starts to add up real quick. There's been days when I'll have multiple accounts blow like 5 in a week. Like I've been there as well. I've made these mistakes, hence why I know what I'm talking about. It's not like I haven't experienced the losing accounts or losing money. I've blown multiple in the space of a day. I've been in the phase where like I'll lose an account now because I entered a trade, and then that account gets blown, and I'll quickly buy an account because they make it so quick to buy an account. You can literally press a few buttons, boom, boom, Apple Pay, boom, you have an account already. Sign back in to MT5 and still try to enter that same trade, maybe in the other way to try and make your money back. And I'll blow that on again and I'll get another account again. Like it's ridiculous. But then you're down, you just spent $500 and lost it in like an hour or less. There's nothing in this world that can make you lose money so quick. Maybe options, right? But I don't really know. I haven't done options, but you lose money like this. So I've been there, and the issue is just, you know, the potential trading can make, you know how much money other people have made, you know how much money you've made as well. So you just kind of get in the cycle of just losses and winning and losing and winning and losing, which is ridiculous. But here's my number one advice to start with. Number one, you want to make sure that you have a full-time job. Okay, a part-time job actually, not a full-time job. Full-time job can be tricky to trade just because a job is usually like a 9 to 5. Trading sadly happens around that 9 to 5, so it's hard to enter trades. But I'll say part-time. Part-time is like the sweet spot, meaning you have income, but you're not busy 24/7. This is essential, essential, because when I was trading, I pretty much had no job, right? So it meant that all the money I had saved and that was what I was using to learn. And to learn trading, you have to lose money. It's part of the expense. It's kind of like you go uni, you pay for, you know, your university and stuff and your education. That's how trading is. You have to drop money and lose it to learn. It's sadly, that's just the case. You're not, I don't know a single soul who's trading and not lost money. If you can show me one person, fair hats to them, right? But everyone's gonna have to lose money. That's how you become good. So you want to have a job for sure, because this would help you big time. It helps you in your psychology to know that, all right, you still got money coming in, and then you set aside a certain, you know, balance or that you're going to use for trading to learn for your education. That's the best way I'll recommend you do it. I didn't do it that way. For me, it was just, I have money that I've saved and this is all going to trading. So you see the balance just depleting. And what this means that you have like a clock basically around that money that is basically counting down, because as it goes down, the clock is counting. So you know, cool, when this money gets to this point, this is how long I have left to get this trading thing on lock and make money back, or I'm cooked. That was the situation I was in. This was good for me though, but not everyone's built like me. But it was good for me because this meant I was able to fast track the process. I learned how to trade in about a year-ish, right? I'll say a year was when I even like passed the funded account and got pay on everything. I did all of that in 1 year, right? So I was able to fast track the entire process, but this was because I had a lot of pressure and clock ticking basically. But I don't recommend that kind of environment for everybody. You want to do it slow and steady, and eventually the money will come. So knowing that you need a part-time job, now there's a question of how much do you need to learn how to trade. There's no particular amount, I would say, because it all depends on how long it takes you to get this all patterned. If it takes longer, you're just going to spend more losses if you're just a bit more stubborn than others. But of course, I would recommend investing in a mentor though. I was somewhat stubborn, right? I like learning things myself. It's just how I'm built. I like learning things myself for free, maximize all the free content out there before I then say, you know what, I've learned everything, I still don't get this, let me find someone to help me or to teach me. That's kind of how I am. But but the thing about trading is like, you can learn so much bad habits doing that now unlearning the bad habits is an issue on its own. So you want to prevent learning those bad habits, and you just want to find a mentor that you know is making money, is doing what they're doing, and that way you want to go with them. So then they'll just teach you what you need to know, because with trading you don't need to know everything to make money. You just need to know a particular thing and then just do that and make your money. You don't need to know everything. So that was the mistake that I made, right? Then that is what I would definitely say you want to do. Find a mentor, learn from them, and it will speed up the process significantly. Now, here is the next difficult part that I think many don't talk about, and that is simply the fact that you will end up being in a point in trading where you are kind of on your ones. No one really knows what you're doing. family ain't gonna support you just because they don't understand what you're doing, so you can't blame them. Trading doesn't make sense if you look at it on paper. Things are going up and down, you're entering. Like, one question I get a lot is, how do you make money from selling? I get this question so much, and it's hard to even explain, right? Because when you're trading, you know you can enter a sell and your money's going up. So people always say, how does that make any sense? I've tried to explain it, but do you get, like, it's one that trading literally doesn't make sense to some aspects. So you're not really gonna get that much support. People don't get what you're doing. It's just that when you start doing well, then it's gonna make sense. Then people are gonna want to know what you do and, you know, learn how you do it. But just know you're gonna be in that phase. If you can find someone, a friend or someone that's gonna trade with you that's on it, then way better experience. Way better experience, because you have somebody with you, do it together, learn together, lose money together. You have an accountability partner, someone that's going to, like, just make the whole thing more interesting, hold you accountable. If you're going to take 20 trades over risk and everything, they know that you're doing it. They can at least, I don't know, slap you in the face to tell you what you're doing, right? So it's good to have somebody there with you for sure. But I would highly recommend, though, that you stay private for as long as you can when you're trading. You don't want to tell a single soul. You don't want to tell anybody. The primary reason why is it's just less pressure. Less pressure. Again, I'm able to tell you these things because these are my mistakes that I'm sharing to you guys. My mistakes were good for me, I must say, as well, in the sense that when I was trading, I kind of started posting these on socials when I was actually learning, right? I wasn't profitable, then I was just sharing, saying, you know, getting better at this, on my Instagram at Sully's advice. So in this point, it still meant that people are seeing what I'm doing. People are seeing me lose money, all that stuff. I did this though primarily just because I needed someone accountable with me. I wasn't trading with anybody. I didn't have any friends doing it with me. So it's just a way of me posting online saying, cool, I'm losing today. There you go. I won today, I lost today, and I was kind of just doing this basically. So I know that there's this pressure that, okay, if I enter this trade, people are gonna see it. So don't just be stupid and enter 60 trades, right? That's kind of how I saw it for myself. But for you though, I recommend that you just don't. It makes it easier. You're able to kind of learn in secret, cook, get good at this, then you can come out in the limelight saying, boom, making 1K today. That's a better experience. I would say it's less pressure. Because the pressure in the moment, especially, let me not say God forbid, but it's like, if people become interested in what you do, and now you have a lot of viewing, a lot of people watching you, it is a whole lot difficult, right? Because it's not just people watching now to see that you lost. It's people watching to tell you their opinion that you didn't ask for, to tell you that you should have entered here or left here, even though they have no idea how you trade. People just like giving their opinions on the internet, right? But people, and some of these will get to you, some of these will, you get, it just makes it so much more harder, because now you're trying to focus on your psychology, focus on following the rules, focus on making money. And now there's one guy from some random country telling you that you're a rubbish trader, and then there's another guy telling you that your stop loss is too tight or it's too wide, or it's just, you're just hearing things from all over the place. And then for some people this might make you change your strategy, and it just makes it worse for you. So in general, stay private, cook, learn, find maybe like a friend, maybe one friend or something to kind of do it with you, be accountable with you, but you want to keep it that way. Over time, the experience will be a lot easier. You allocate money to actually invest into platforms and stuff, so you're not just spending money recklessly. You take it slow and steady, and I promise you, 10 times better experience. You'll be able to get the hang of everything very quick, smooth, and it's just going to be a lot easier. Now, what is the number one struggle that you're going to face? I would say the primary number one out of all the struggles in terms of trading, the number one would simply boil down to not trusting your system. This means that you might go on a win streak 4 weeks ago. Everything's good, sweet, you're making money. And then for some reason, losing streak comes. You're losing 2-3 trades in a row. In that moment, it's normal for human beings to want to figure out what's the problem, how can I fix it? But this sometimes would mean that you end up changing your strategy. And that's when everything goes downhill the moment you've done that. Because changing your strategy doesn't just mean changing it. Realistically, what it means is that you've changed something, you now need to backtest and relearn and practice and find out the little tweaks and the little issues and the little tiny things from that particular strategy. You don't just change your strategy, there's more to it. But this, all of this now that you happen to now tweak and experiment with is just going to be more losses, right? So overall, that's going to be the biggest problem. So I always say, when you find a strategy that works, you want to stick with it, back test it for 6 months, at least 6 months, at least 6 months. So that way, in that 6 months, right, you have a lot of data. You've seen the situations. You've seen times when price may not get to your TP. Price is one stop away from your TP, and then it turns the other way. You've experienced all of this. You've experienced the pump fakes and the, all the different issues that can happen. That's just from backtesting, and of course, at some point you're gonna forward test as well. See how it is when you're trading live on demo, whatever it is. So at this point, you're gonna have enough experience. The backtest in 6 months is not easy, and it does take some time, right? So you have to stick with it though. If things are just not cooking, then fair enough, you can then switch. But don't be switching all over there. You're gonna learn multiple bad habits. You're gonna learn this TP from one strategy, TP from another strategy, mix it all up together, end up making a concoction of absolute confusion and just rubbish, and then you're just gonna be in a cycle of learning. Then that's why you end up seeing people saying they've been trading for 5 years and they're still not profitable. Because in that 5 years, they're just going strategy to strategy, backtest this, try this for 6 months, switch to another one. They're just going back and forth, and time is ticking. 5 years down the line, they've dumped a ton of money into it, dumped a ton of time into it, and they literally haven't gotten anywhere. They're back to the start, to when they started 5 years ago, basically, which is ridiculous, right? And like, God forbid you're even like older, because it's harder to do this when you're 30, 40, 10 times harder. Things are just a lot more stressful at that point. So always remember, you have to trust the system. There was a time, I remember literally like about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I had a losing streak. I was posting these on socials. Everybody was chatting, right? But it was just loss after loss. Then I might get a win, then loss. Because it was just a bad phase. That week was just horrible in general. There's nothing was working. But in the moment, it's hard to zoom out and look at the big picture. But that was just how it was. Very, very tough week, but we're able to kind of get through it. And now it's like win, win, win. Over the past 2 weeks, we're doing very, very good, up by like 6% or so. Everything is sweet now. Still the same strategy I'm using, same thing, same entry, same exit. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, it happens, but you have to stick to it. It's just, yeah, I guess it gets to a point where something clicks and you realize, because I'm saying this now, and for many of you, it's not going to click until down the line. It's going to click and you're going to realize, oh, Sully said so. Yeah, probably should have listened last year or 2 years ago, whenever it is that you're going to watch this video, right? So remember, trust your system. And now there's a popular question that we also get asked a lot: prop firms or personal accounts? I would say personal account. Personal account is ideal, but of course we all know many of us can't afford it. But personal account will be the sweet spot. Personal account, there's something about trading personal. As soon as I started, it's just so much better, because you can be down 20% and come back. You can risk whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes you can be up 20%, and then this gives you some flexibility to kind of, you can play around with it a bit more to make that, more money or whatever it is. But there's less pressure. If I lose 5% today, it's packed. Obviously, if you're following good risk management anyway, you shouldn't really be risking that much in a day, I would say. But overall, it's just overall, you can withdraw whenever you want. There's just something, I don't know what it is, but there's something about personal account that makes the experience a lot better, and I trade better on personal, right? But with prop firms, again, we have to still use it though, because they're just the only way to have a lot of capital and being able to make a lot of money very quick. So as much as personal is the way, prop firms have to be utilized for as long as they exist, and you want to make sure you make as much money as possible from prop firms before they go. I don't know if prop firms is going to be around that long. It just doesn't seem like they will be. So you want to milk it as much as possible ASAP to make as much money, put that into your personal, and then start trading personal in the future. Now on that note, there's something that I do have to mention, something that is very, very heavy, which is content creators. Content creators is the aspect, is the primary, is very prominent in terms of this trading space, right? There's many of them. And when it comes to content creators, A lot of people sometimes say, it's hard to find the trusted ones and the ones that are good and transparent and all of this stuff. Very true. I definitely agree. It makes it very, very hard to even be a content creator in this space because everyone is out here to ridicule you. But obviously I understand because that's just how the space and the niche is. When it comes to you and content creators, what I'll recommend is that you want to stick to one. That's kind of what I did. You find one, you binge watch all of his content, everything from start to finish, watch everything. Learn whatever you can, and then maybe move on to the next one if you just can't find something else that you need or some sort of answer. Kind of what I recommend. Do not bounce from one to another, and you definitely want to do your due diligence. The key things I would say in terms of content creators to know which one at least ticks the box, one you can trust and learn from, is that number one, are they transparent? Just because of how the space is, you have to be transparent. If they're not showing their losses, if they're not showing their wins, just all that stuff, especially the losses. The losses is the key, right? It's the key, because it's very, very sweet. It's just very, very sweet to just be pumping out wins, right? To make people understand that you're winning, It's sweet because there will be many people that just think this guy's winning 90% of the time because everyone cares about win rate. Everyone wants a strategy that's winning 90% of the time, loses once, and has like a 1 to 10 RR. The perfect case scenario. You take one trade 1 to 10 and you do that 90% of the time. That's what everybody wants. So some content creators make the most of this. That's what they'll show you. But obviously, trust me, I'll tell you for free that that's not the case. Not even far, not even close. Most of the time, you might have like a 60% win rate, 70. Maybe there's a handful of species, human beings that are just able to cook like that, fair enough, whatever it is, right? But I'll tell you, most cases, no one's doing that. It's just about having a good edge, making 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s or so, and accepting the losses. But overall, when you win, you just win more. It's that simple. That's really all trading boils down to. When you win more. When you lose, you just lose less, and over time this compounds and you make money, right? That's basically the formula. So you want to make sure that whatever content creator you're watching, they show you this, show you transparent, shows you everything. Once you say transparency, everything else kind of, you have a bit more trust in the sense that now if they're not hiding the losses and all that stuff, then now you can truly now determine, okay, cool, do I want to work with this person or get to know or learn from them, whatever it is, just because now there's nothing else to lose really. You've already seen how they lose, you've seen how much they lose. So if you hop in as well, you kind of know what to expect and what you're going to be losing as well, because you don't want to hop in, learn from them, and then you're losing a ton and they're still saying they're winning somehow. It's not adding up, right? Because realistically, it's meant to be in line. If you win, they win. If they lose, you should lose. Not they win and you're losing and they keep winning and you're somehow still losing and you're supposed to be learning from them. Or like, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. So my nose is kind of itchy. I don't know why. I think when I talk for too long, I get this kind of itchiness. It's kind of weird. But anyway, final and most important thing is with trading, look, I promise you, I can guarantee this. So if you've not paid attention to anything else, you want to listen to this. Just be patient with it. Patience. 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 I said this multiple times. And give it time to cook. And you yourself take it slow. Don't be in a rush. The moment you get into trading to make money, forget. Just forget. Start again. Because otherwise you already had a bad start basically, right? It's like you're trying to do a race, you fell down, and you kind of know you already lost a 100-meter sprint. It's already GG's. Give it time. You have to go through the process of trading. You have to go through the losses. You have to go through the strategy changes. You have to go through the mistakes. You have to go through the greed where you're going to hold your money for too long when you should have left. You're going to have to go through these things. And once you've gone through it and you're breaking every wall, uppercutting the challenges and everything, eventually you will then reach the end of the tunnel where everything makes sense. Yeah, that's the point where it's like, okay, pretty much pattern it, you start making money, and I promise you, you're not going to regret starting the entire thing. But you want to make sure you play it smart, stick with the game, and how you stick with the game is by simply not losing too much money whilst you're learning or as you go through that journey. Many people don't make it at the end, and that percentage goes from 100 to 1% that make it, just because most people lose so much money before they even get to like the middle of the race, right? They lost so much that they have to quit. They just don't have any more money left to invest into the education. So you wanna spend less, do the minimum, train on demo, practice, literally every way possible that isn't making you lose money. And eventually, when you're now losing money, you're losing a little bit, and eventually you make all the money back. So that's it from me. If you found any value, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.